here we will be talking about the muscle origin, insertion and the action movement. So first we will be talk about the pectoralis minus. The pectoralis minus origin will be the anterior surface of the third to fifth ribs, and the origin will be the coracoid process of the scapula. So the action will be the action movement will be the downward and the depression of the scapula, downward rotation and the depression of the scapula, and then the second one will be the elevation of the third to fifth ribs. And the second muscle will be the upper trapezius. The upper trapezius of the origin with the base of the skull and around to C1 to C7, and the insertion will be the front third of the clavicle and the acromion, which the action movement will be the scapular upward elevation, scapular upward rotation, and the knee extension. So the third one is the infraspinatus. The infraspinatus of the origin will be the infraspinatus fascia of the scapula, which this area, and then the insertion will be the posterior part of the greater tuberosity of the humerus, and then also the action movement will be the shoulder rotation and external rotation, and then the shoulder abduction. Next muscle will be the tricep brachii, which will be divided into two parts, which longer one and the shorter one. And the longer one will be the infraglenoid tubercle, which here around, and then the shorter one will be the upper part and then the posterior part of the humerus. So the insertion will be ganogon canal, which this part. So the action movement will be the hip, elbow extension and the shoulder extension. So next we will talk about the tensor fascia latae. So tensor fascia latae, the origin will be the ASIS part, which this part, and the ASIS of the preface, which this part, and the insertion will come through the ITB to the lateral fibular condyle. So the movement action will be the hip abduction and some internal rotation. Next will be the gluteus maximum. The gluteus maximum of the origin will be the posterior part of the iliac crest, and then the insertion will be the come through the greater trochanter and touch with some ITB. So the action movement of the gluteus maximum will be the hip extension and some external rotation, and include some posterior perfective. So next will be the piriformis longus. Piriformis longus of origin will be the fibular head, touch with some fibula lateral of a fibula, and cross through the insertion will be the cross through the undersurface to touch with the first metatarsal. So the ankle movement of this muscle will be the ankle eversion and the ankle plantar flexion. Next will the bicep femoris will be the separate into two parts first in the longer one will be the iliacal tuberosity, and the shorter one will be the posterior part and middle part of the femur. So the insertion will be the lateral who touch with the lateral tubular head and the lateral tubular conda. So this action movement will be will touch with knee flexion, knee extension, and some knee external rotation. So next muscle will be multi-fineness. Multi-fineness of the origin will be C1 to C7 PSIS, and the insertion will be 2 to 3 segment downward to the origin. So the action movement with the spinal extension and keep the local stability. The last one will be the spinal capitis. Spinal capitis of the origin will be around C3 to C4 to C7 to T3, and the insertion will be the vertical process of the head. So the muscle action will be the leg extension and some leg rotation. So here is the all 10 muscle description of the origin, insertion, and muscle movement. So thank you.